Hey everyone, Alex here. In this video, I'm going to be sharing new information about sex transmutation that I've never shared before. I'm going to talk specifically about 3 things that you need to put in place in order to start and how to succeed, how to maintain it without it feeling like a constant struggle, how to get on the sex energy transmutation starship and fly. So by the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge and tools to sustainably channel this energy into your career or business goals, or even use it on a social level to attract a new relationship. And so stick around until the very end of the video so you can get all the information and apply it properly to get the positive results. And very briefly, before we get straight into it, a few more slots have opened up for the free one-to-one with me to see if you'd be a good fit for the Consciousness Revolution program over at speaktoalex.com. So head over there if you're interested, or wait till the end of the video for more details. Now let's get straight into it. What I'm going to be sharing in this video is a little different to what I have before, in that I'm going to be going a little deeper on how to start sex energy transmutation, but more importantly, how to keep it sustainable without it being a constant challenge. For anyone that doesn't know what sex transmutation, otherwise known as sex energy transmutation, is, in a nutshell, it's the transmuting, or in other words, changing of the psychological energy and drive to procreate into creative energy and social energy. In other words, transmuting that horniness into energy. I've personally coached many people on this topic, and in my experience, many of them read a book like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and come across the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. And in that, they learn they can channel this powerful energy into the creation of their future, be that in health, career, or relationships. But they find the explanation a little basic and they want more detail. If you want to learn a fuller explanation of what sex transmutation is and some foundational practices, watch my video, Sex Transmutation Basics, for which I'll put a link to in the description. But right now, let's answer the question, what do we need in order to not only start, but succeed and keep it sustainable? The first thing is you'll need to change your philosophy on sex and masturbation. It's to change your beliefs about it. In other words, if you believe that for you personally, using pornography regularly is the right strategy to soothe yourself, or that casual sex with strangers whenever you feel horny is right for you, you're gonna crash the sex transmutation starship before it's barely got off the launch pad like an early SpaceX test launch. You might get some initial excitement and momentum to begin with as you find out some stuff about NoFap or sex transmutation, and you think it's a great idea to see how long I can go. But very quickly, there'll be this moment where your beliefs will just change back. Thoughts about how it's great to soothe yourself with porn or whatever else is going to creep back in and make the urge to end your streak overwhelmingly tempting until you slip back down the rabbit hole. Now, you don't necessarily need to think that porn or casual sex is evil, or you'll never ever masturbate ever again, although a porn addict may find a commitment to abstinence is helpful. But at the end of the day, you need to get some conviction. For sex energy transmutation to be sustainable, you need conviction around your beliefs. You need to get your why straight around why you're doing this to begin with. Think about it. A non-smoker doesn't need willpower to overcome the temptation to smoke. They're already convicted that they don't want to smoke. And so smoking doesn't even occur to them. They already concretely believe that it's not right for them and they don't want it. So you're going to need some conviction. at least around a specific time period. If you're new to this, you can at least think to yourself, well, if I never go to 30 or 60 or 90 days, I'll never, ever, ever know what the effects were, and I could miss out on something absolutely amazing. Or, if you're a little more seasoned, you can consciously decide that this is now the lifestyle for you. It doesn't mean that you'll never be tempted, but it does mean that you'll have the conviction to counteract that temptation and escape its gravitational pull before your starship bursts into flames. The second is you need what we could call escape velocity. If you're trying to get a starship off the launch pad and into space, you need an awful lot of fuel to get it off the ground. But once you're in space, for the most part, you don't need the same amount of fuel. You're just gliding. If you don't have enough fuel, you're going to run out before you hit the upper atmosphere, and gravity is going to pull you straight back down to Earth. So with sex energy transmutation, you need a lot of fuel to get you off the ground. And there's a risk that you could get pulled back down if you don't have enough. But once you get into space, it's a lot easier. You're not constantly having to fuel your starship. For the most part, you're cruising. And this fuel isn't brute force and willpower. Pushing and forcing and resisting won't work. It will just create more inner resistance and you'll burn yourself out. The fuel is, number one, your conviction, and number two, presence. Now, I've done a great many videos on presence, so if you want to learn more, just search Alex Shayler and presence for a ton of videos. But essentially, being deeply present is being rooted in your true self as this awareness instead of always being lost in thought. You need to be able to catch yourself before thoughts about sex or masturbation appear and you identify with them, and then you unconsciously follow those thoughts to the behavior. You need to learn to at least observe your thoughts and not believe every thought that just pops into your head. In the first week or two especially, you need to be calmly vigilant because you've been in the habit of regularly expelling your sexual energy, and so thoughts about doing so are going to have this momentum. So when they inevitably pop into your head and start captivating your attention, zoom back out. Remember that you're the perceiver of these thoughts and not the thoughts themselves. Remember your true self as awareness, and remember your conviction and why you'd much prefer to save your sexual energy. Once you overcome those first few urges and you're blasting off, you've got some escape velocity and you get into space, I'm not saying you'll never get urges. It's important to stay convicted and present, but most people find it a lot easier to cruise once they've got that initial momentum. When the urge arises, you recognize that the thoughts are there. You don't try to suppress them or push them away, but you know you don't have to identify with them, and instead you can just be with the feeling. And that leads me on to the third point. In order to keep sex energy transmutation sustainable, you must learn to be with the feelings, which are these bodily sensations. You must learn to be with the sex energy sensations in the body without letting them control your thinking. At the beginning, you might experience it as some kind of tingling or vibrating energy sensations in your groin or abdomen. And if you're deep into a streak of abstinence, it can feel like electricity pulsing through your body. But either way, you must allow it to be there, and you can take a deep breath and allow it to wash all over you. Oh, and one more thing. Many people are using porn or casual sex to mask emotional pain. So when you jump on a streak of abstinence, feelings that were underneath and being suppressed by masturbation can rise to the surface. And it's important to be with those feelings too. There may be some inner work to do to process the emotions that rise up, or to get to the root of why a behavior is so compulsive in the first place. But if you can put all of these things in place and remember why you're doing this and stay present, you'll be able to channel that energy and get your starship cruising. So before you go, some more info on the Consciousness Revolution program. On this program, we help you overcome overthinking, low self-esteem, or anxiety that's holding you back from what you really want to experience. If you're done living an uninspired life of the same stuff day after day, and you want to build something that positively contributes to the world and therefore brings abundance to your life, this program is for you. Or if you're a conscious entrepreneur that has had some momentum but really wants blasting off, this program's for you too. So head over to speaktoalex.com to book a time for us to chat about solving your problems. And with that being said, like this video if you liked it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos helping you with conscious personal growth. Peace.